200 years before events of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, in the era of glorious High Republic, the noble and wise Jedi Knights must face a frightening threat to themselves, the galaxy, and the Force itself.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and review every little bit of material that came out in this introduction to this multimedia project. Kind of break it down a little bit, give my points on that. I may not I wouldn't say I'm not as hopeful as everybody else. There's parts of it I see that even break the movie continuity and stuff, and so I remain skeptical on a lot of stuff, and I remain mostly or all the way in Legends, but I am covering this because it does break some continuity with parts of the movies when it comes to the era of the Jedi and the Sith coming into play during that time, especially when the movies say that the Sith weren't around for a millennium. And so we're just going to go ahead and cover this. So we're going to take a look at the clip first.
It is a golden age where there's much more peace and calm in the galaxy. So we're calling it the High Republic.
The description that we've used for the Jedi in this era is that they're the Jedi Knights of the Round Table.
So as you can see, for this first portion of the clip, they are basically nicknaming or calling it the Jedi Knights of the Round Table. So mimicking off of old European lore, Knights of the Round Table. However, I have to disagree with the direction they're going with this, because it never took on that type of lore, and the Jedi Knights were never adhering to any type of ruler like the Knights of the Round Table, who were the knights of the king and queen of that time in our earthly lore compared to Star Wars lore. So let's take a look further into these clips.
But Star Wars isn't just about Jedi, and we will tell stories of new smugglers, new scoundrels, new bounty hunters.
And as you see, they will expand on new characters such as bounty hunters and many other aspects of characters in their new lore. And I think that's what we wanted from the beginning, is not bring in our Legends characters, but expand and make your own, like you wanted to when you decided to coin the original EU Legends. We were hoping, many fans were hoping, that they would see something new and different from Star Wars. That's including characters. And since you want to create your own new timeline and everything, then that's what we were expecting. Not the abomination of legacy characters, and not like the half-proclaimed characters like Thrawn, who's just a shell of the person or being that he is, that we've seen in the original lore. So I'm excited about that in general, especially for Disney Star Wars fans.
The threat and the tension really comes from the Republic's borders, because the Republic does not extend from one side of the galaxy to the other.
It's a bit of a Wild West new frontier. We see a different kind of Jedi that patrols the frontiers as more of a Texas Ranger.
And so basically they say that the threat now comes from basically the outer rim fringes of the galaxy. And again, they said the Republic, or the High Republic as they're calling it now, doesn't extend from one galaxy to another, which kind of mirrors Legends as well. And so they're calling the Jedis now who patrol the outer rim area of the fringe of the galaxy as basically Texas Rangers. Again, putting in our worldly descriptions to describe their new type of Jedi. So just thought I'd share that little.
We're now bringing in concept artists, illustrators, and visualists, the same way that you would when you're making a movie.
We even had Ian McKay come down and just do sketch for us. When you have a guy who designed the look for Darth Maul sketching Jedi for you, it doesn't get any cooler than this.
The scale of this initiative is really new for us. We're going to have stories for adults and teens and kids.
We're building this out simultaneously across multiple publishers. It gives us the ability to tell vast interconnected stories across multiple years.
So this is going to be a multimedia project, which is said that they've never done this on this type of scale for Disney Lucasfilm, which is believable because we've been just getting quick movies coming out, and now we have, you know, a little series on Disney Plus. However, Disney Lucasfilm has done this before, and one that comes to mind is Shadow of the Empire. You know, so there's going to be games, hopefully, comics, novels, maybe a series for Disney Plus. We shall see. They have multiple people in different areas working on this project as well. And so we'll see how this goes and how this fruitions with Disney Lucasfilm in this project.
There will be a core group of heroes that will expand over time. There'll be villains.
Our main villain are a group called the Nile. We kind of like to refer to them as space Vikings.
Their motto is, you can't take it with you, but we can take it from you.
So they shared some villains with us and what they're going to expound on with them. And I guess there's a species that's going to be called, our group of villains and species that are calling the Nile. And they're coining them again and describing them in our world as the Vikings, and that their motto is that they can take things from you, I guess. And so that's what they're mirroring them after. And you'll see, it looks like there's some Twi'leks in there and just different species as well. And so I'm very curious to see those who love Disney Lucasfilm and follow this project, what they think of this and what they think about the new villains of this project.
The cool thing about this is that there's going to be a story for every Star Wars fan. It's really fun to be able to keep readers on their toes. This era is ripe for storytelling. The eureka moment was the question, what scares the Jedi? And that made us all go, ooh, something wicked this way comes.
So they're excited about covering that area of the timeline, filling it in and redefining their Jedi, redefining the galaxy, and also the villains. So they're saying, you know, they're hinting on villains are going to be different than what we see of the Sith. However, I do have a list that we're going to go over and take a look at what their breakdown of their stories and what they want to see and develop inside this timeline that they're doing. And again, it's like 200 or 400 before the Skywalker saga. And so it's in that little area, and I'm going to put the timeline right here with the circle around. It's in that little area where nothing's really filled in. And does that mean that they're going to keep the Old Republic? No, it doesn't. They just found a little area where they can fill in and develop their own lore. And they're probably going to expand outwards towards the prequel trilogy and before the Project Luminous or Lumini or whatever the hell it's called, and go from there. They are redefining everything, and as you've seen in the Disney trilogy, they're redefining the Jedi as well. And so they're probably going to take that further here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this little board they put up with what they want to do as their fiction, their Star Wars, and the Star Wars looks like wishes. I think the word is spelled wrong, but no worries. So we're going to take a look at this, and I'm going to put it right here and you can follow along with me. So under fiction, they have authenticity, lived in. So basically probably trying to stay to their lore. We shall see. And then surprise. So they want an element of surprise, like the awestruck thing. And they want diversity. So that is on their list, is diversity. So let's see how that goes, because that was never really a factor when creating a lore. I don't think it was ever on George Lucas's scoreboard on what he should expand on. And actual ending, which I find kind of funny. Actual ending. All right. And then feelings. So basically, maybe the characters show feelings, or maybe they cause feelings to the viewer. Relatable characters, which they failed to do in the Disney trilogy. It needs the story also. They're looking at it to be sweeping and epic. So those are the fiction part of the board here. And now we're going to go to Star Wars, not pro-war. So basically what they said in the clip too as well, that is supposed to be a period where maybe there's peace. They really didn't say peace, but they're like, the Jedi are flourishing. So who knows what they mean about that. But as we go along with this, we'll find out a little bit more, and I'll expand on that a little bit more. Droids, of course, that's part of Star Wars lore, so I don't know why that's on there. That should be an automatic because of how they develop in the lore. Scope, so maybe the overall scope of things. Mythic, so are they going back to mythologies? If they are they going to adhere to what George created and also the hero's journey? Space and lightsaber battles, but then I thought it wasn't pro-war, so we shall see how that goes. No single main character, so they're going to expound on a lot of characters then, but then how are we going to want to keep track of every single character? Usually there's usually a main character that you want to follow, so we shall see how they do with that. Maybe each little bit of the lore that they're developing in this multimedia project will have somewhat of a main character in each. But I feel that's off-putting because Star Wars, there's always been at least one main character or three that we follow. And of course, the Force. Now, Star Wars wishes, High Republic, so basically that's that little space in there. And go ahead and take a look. I put it right here now. And in that little area, there's a time frame in there that they can fill in. So I'm guessing they're calling that era High Republic. However, I think they're going to take away Old Republic and rename it High Republic, maybe. Who knows? It is a possibility. Relic Hunters, so basically that's probably more into their new characters that they're designing. They put University, so unifying university. It looks like it says dinosaurs. All right, and then representation and diversity, again, made in this list. I don't think with Star Wars, I don't think you have to focus on representation and diversity because we're dealing with multiple species here, so you're already getting diverse. All right, and I'm guessing this is Authorian legends, so authorized are they going to put in Legends character? Is that what they mean? I can't read that handwriting right there. But if they're going to put in Legends, is it going to be the hinted Revan? If it is, it's not going to be the same Revan that we all know in KOTOR and in the Old Republic. And again, it's going to go against the movies because in the movies, they state that the Sith have been gone for a millennium. And this is not even a millennium yet. So we'll see how that plays out. And then rival houses. So is this meaning like different worlds rival each other and their rulers? Sith Empire. They're going against lore. They're going against the lore against the movies. So are they going to start retconning the movies? You know, it's in the movies that the Sith have been extinct or gone for a millennium, and yet this is only like 200 to 400 pre-Skywalker saga. So standard years, and that's not a millennium yet. So how is this going to pan out if that's what they're going to do? They're breaking the lore already, and this is evidence, and this is why there's no consistency. There's no people who have grown up with Star Wars get displaced because there are people who pay attention to continuity and how well the lore and history is written that George established. And so now they're just ripping this apart. Yes, the movies are the foundation. So please mind the foundation. And then Chaos Agents. So when we have Sith, rival houses, lightsaber battles, space and lightsaber battles, but this is not pro-war. So what is it then? This is Star Wars. There has to be some kind of war, some kind of conflict going on. Even if they're, even it's small, minor, like different system disputes or whatever, it is still Star Wars. There's still going to be some wars in there. Even in the Legends or the original EU, the time space that they had some sort of peace wasn't necessarily shown. We've seen the last end of that, and then it picked up again. And what I mean by that is that they had the New Jedi Order, and then when everything, you know, when they won over the Vong and stuff, and right before they got into the Darkness trilogy, there was that peacetime. There's a little gap there that wasn't filled in. That was the peacetime, I guess you could say. And then once they get into the Darkness trilogy, we start having conflict again. And so because it's Star Wars, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at this other little bit of development that kind of goes along with this list and hints on the Sith Empire. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at that tweet that caught my eye. And so this is from Twitter, like I said. And I'm fairly certain Project Luminous will be a story of galactic exploration during the High Republic era. The Jedi will chart new territories and explore regions unknown as war wages with the Sith. And I find that funny and interesting because on that checklist, they didn't want it to be pro-war. However, they have the Sith Empire on the checklist as well. And then also exploring new territories and regions and charting them, which makes no sense to me. So are they shortening the timeline era? So does that mean that the Old Republic's not going to exist? And that's what I get from this. However, this is a speculation, but it did catch my eye. So in this clip, it shares little bits from the comics that share about the High Republic and a little highlighted portion. A few planets have been discovered, but their populations remain small, and their trade with the rest of the galaxy had been throttled by the navigational risk. The Sith and the Jedi had found paths through to even more dangerous, more hidden worlds. And so I'm going to expand on this a little bit more. In the original lore, hyperspace and hyper lanes were established in this time frame, and so we have the travel through hyperspace established. But now the Disney lore came around, and the hyperdrive invention was discovered later, not as early in the timeline like we see in the original lore. So this is what they're doing with, so they're shortening their timeline up and pushing the movies closer to where, you know, maybe Couture in that area, for example, would be. And so we're seeing a change also in the hyperdrive, the hyperlanes, and the exploration and charting out the galaxy. So the galaxy is being re-evented. And so I'm going to go ahead and expand a little bit more. Arso Legend said, and the specific carefully stepped coordinate jumps required to safely navigate the anomalies were among their most closely guarded secrets. So they're saying that all these hyper coordination for hyperspace jump and all that is now kept secrets. And then when you look at the Disney trilogy and other Disney material, it feels like they just jump without the coordinates. And then we have in the Disney trilogy, Poe jumping, making rash jumps to get away. And if you look in the lore, in the OT, Han even says that you need to calculate your jumps before you go, or you're going to end up dead, basically. And I'm paraphrasing. And so we're going to take a look at the comic here. And this is one, I guess, I'm guessing with from the Kylo Ren ones, and I'm going to go ahead and read it here. It says, I'm fine, Snoke. Oh, yeah, it is. Just off on yet another mission with Master Skywalker to find Jedi artifacts. Very interesting. Lor Santeca's here, too. He thinks he found something on the edge of the outer rim, almost to the unknown regions. And so that is Ben Solo, and he's communicating with Snoke. And the way it looks like it's through the mind, maybe, not through like just spoken word. And Snoke says, I sense disgust in you. So basically they're communicating through the Force. However, if Luke was that strong in the Force, wouldn't you think he sensed that and sensed Snoke's presence? All right. So we're not going to get into that. It's probably High Republic era, Laura Santeca says. It was a time of greatly expanded Jedi activity throughout the galaxy. So that kind of expands and gives us hints on that time frame. Then we have one here, looks like Poe. In the days of the High Republic, the galaxy was not as settled as it is now. Areas like the Outer Rim were dangerous, hard to navigate. So again, during that time frame, it was established already in Legends that, you know, hyperdrives or hyperlanes and all that were established already. So they're pushing, they're condensing the timeline, I'm guessing. We shall see. So the people of that time built a huge space station at great effort and expense and placed it in the center of the dark zones. And I have no idea. It sent out a signal that acted as a sort of beacon, helping travelers find their way. Okay, so it's kind of like a signal kind of thing to help people navigate, I guess. Okay. And so that expands on that tweet from Twitter that I found that I thought it was interesting because it did have comics that are tying in within their own lore together, some continuity, which to me I find is rare. More so, a lot of it contradicts the movies, and I've spoken about that before. So please share in the comments below what you think about this new multimedia project coming out through Disney Lucasfilm. And again, I always will stress this: Disney is going to do what they want with their Star Wars franchise. And it's okay if you like it. It's okay if you stay in the George Lucas era. And it's also okay if you're in between both the timelines and like what's coming out, no matter if it's Legends or not. Let's start this conversation. Comment below, like, subscribe, and share. And thank you for visiting my channel, OG Star Wars. Have a great day, night, or evening. Thank you.